All right, guys, we're back with 2024 Glendale. This track is wild. It is absolutely crazy. As you can see, the design is super cool. I'm pretty happy with the way the track came out for me. Trying to fit it into this stadium with the basic track editor we get in the game. It did come out very, very good. It does work very, very good in my opinion. We'll walk you through it and talk about it a bit, but I did have to make a few changes to it to fit the stadium. But overall, I really do believe it'll be something pretty similar to what we check out today in the game. This track is obviously quite a bit different from what we had in Detroit. Detroit was a very simple, basic track. This one, not so much. A bunch of jumps, a bunch of 180s. I really feel like the racing's going to be pretty freaking awesome here. So we start with first person to go over the track and then switch over to some different riders. And yeah, we're going to go with that. So let's jump into it and check out 2024 Glendale. Alrighty, we've got 2024 Glendale to check out in the game. Pretty happy. It came out really well, with what I had to work with. And we're going to do first person and kind of get a track walk. So we triple to the first bend. And then we go triple. Now from the bend to the 180, there should be 7 jumps. I only have 6 because I didn't have enough room. So it's a bit different. Supercross triple into a double, into a whoop section, into a sand section. And then we go across the start straight and do it again. Sand to whoop. So those 2 parts of the track could be pretty tricky. I really feel like we might see some people go down with the whoops to sand and then sand to whoop. So pretty interesting design. Just how it mirrors itself basically. And then we have a double into the finish line double. And then we have a Supercross triple into the next long rhythm section on the backside here. And I really feel like I put it as a quad triple. Now I don't know if they do that, but you gotta assume they're gonna have a bunch of speed coming off that Supercross triple. So a quad I don't think is out of the question. I guess it depends on where the bend is and how they do it. And then we have a jump across the track, which is pretty cool always, and then 2 triples before we connect back to the start straight. So the track is awesome. It feels like it could be pretty there could be pretty good racing, a bunch of 180s, rhythm sections that could have different timings in them. Really awesome. This track is freaking sweet, and I can't wait for the race. But I do want to talk about Jett a bit. Jett did get the whole shot in the main event and just kind of won. I mean, he didn't run away with it necessarily, but he's good at maintaining and managing his gap. So just kind of won easily. Well, pretty easily. He almost went down. He had 2 spots, but one on the broadcast where he was trying to jump onto the table before the Supercross triple, and his front wheel was a bit low, and that almost went really, really bad. But he was able to save it, so Jett Lawrence got first place, and he had a good night. He's the first repeat winner of the year altogether, but also in the 450s, and he is 1 point back from Chase Sexton, because Sexton got second place and just kind of stayed there. And then we'll talk about Roxon in third a bit later. But I want to talk about Webb. Webb did not make the podium, but in my opinion, he was one of the more fun parts of the race to watch because he got a bad start. He got a good jump in his heat and was leading for a while, but he dumped it over in the sand before the finish line and then didn't get, the best finish in his heat, so he didn't have a great gate pick. He said there was a pretty big hole in front of his gate that messed him up, but it's the way it is when you don't have a good gate pick. So he got a bad start in the main, but then he worked his way back up to 4th, right? So watching Webb was one of the more fun parts because he was on the move and there was some battling and whatnot, and pretty good, but he was pretty far back. Webb is pretty close. The points, the top 4 are very, very close. It's still close to 5th and 6th place too, but the top 4 are separated by like 6 points. I believe Webb is in 4th place in the standings, and he's only 6 points back. And then Plessinger is like 4, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure. And then Jett is only 1 point back. So very, very tight at the top. And I've seen some people saying, Webb, he's not going to get a win. He got gifted. I think that's crazy. I think Webb is one of the fastest, best-looking riders out there this year. And I really do assume he's going to get another win. I just assume he will. But switching over to Tomac. Tomac was a bit of a surprise. His heat was okay. Webb ended up passing him back after he went down, but it was okay. And then in the main, he got a good start and was kind of giving it to Sexton in the beginning. But then Roczen got by him and he started to fade. He started to fade like crazy. He went back to, I think it was 11th place, but then Barsha may have went down. I don't think he passed him back really. Maybe he did. It didn't really show it on the broadcast, but he did get back to 10th place, and then he's like 16 points back. So not impossible, but that hurt him. And I saw some people, you know, riders have haters and people that like him, but I saw some of the people not big fans of Tomac saying that, yeah, he's done. He's done. Should have retired, whatever. That's crazy. He just had A2, the third main, where he looked amazing. So to say that stuff like that is just dumb. In my opinion, that's really dumb. I don't know what was wrong with him. I've heard some stuff. Some people thought he maybe re-injured himself. I don't believe that. I believe that some people have been saying bike issues. Whether it was just he was uncomfortable with the bike, or I've heard a rumor of it possibly being a shock issue. Now, I don't know. If you do know, let me know in the comments, but all I've heard is that. I don't know if there's a definitive answer yet, but it's weird. It's very uncharacteristic of Tomac. So, I don't know. I expect him to bounce back, but yeah, that was tough on him. Tough for the points, tough race, just, you know, bad for him in general. But like I said, I do expect Tomac to be able to rebound and try to get himself back into this championship. Now, here we switch over to Roczen. I'm super happy we finally get some Roczen gameplay here. Roczen has looked super fast, super good all year long, but he's had some unfortunate stuff happen, some mistakes, and just some bad starts, right? He hasn't gotten great starts this year, and that has hurt him. He didn't get a great start for this race either, but he was able to quickly make some passes and then get by Tomac and get into third place, and he finished in third place. So Roczen looks good, and I'm really happy to see him on the podium and finally get a decent finish, right? It kind of felt like maybe he could make a run at Sexton, but then the race was getting kind of to the end. The track was getting pretty nasty. Not the nastiest I've ever seen, and Roczen's really good in that stuff, but it never really happened. I thought it might, but it didn't. And then he was quite a bit ahead. Cooper Webb wasn't going to be able to catch him because of how far back he was. Actually, I'm not really sure, but didn't Roczen actually turn the fastest lap of the race? I'm not 100% sure, but I think he may have. So Roczen was on rails. He was flying. And it was really cool to see him do well. And then I want to talk about the 250s, because the 250s for the first turn was the most exciting part of the weekend. They go into the first turn. We're on the East Coast here, and half the field goes down in the first turn. Basically, what it appeared to have happened was Hammaker went into Tom Vial, and then domino effect into everybody else. And it took out a bunch of the main contenders. It took out, unfortunately, both of the Triumph bikes, and Hayden Deegan, his bars were bent down to a 90 basically. He finished the race, but it was bad. It was really bad, and a bunch of the riders you would expect to be up front weren't able to be there because of that pileup. It was so bad. And then Austin Faulkner ended up going on to win. Max Anstey got second. Really cool, really fun. Just seems like a fun dude. Always cool to listen to him on the podium. I'm really happy for Anstey. And then Daxton Bennick ended up getting third. So, yeah, it was wild. Deegan was not happy. He was doing some hand gestures to, I believe it was Tom Vial, but it wasn't his fault. It really wasn't. It wasn't. Hammaker went into him. There was nothing that could happen. So I feel like those hand gestures were a little bit uncalled for, but, you know, whatever, just my 2 cents. And Cameron McAdoo did the race with a big hole in his pants in a very unfortunate spot. Okay, you probably have heard about it, but yeah, it was crazy, and I would say that was the biggest news of the night. Now we go back to the West, so the East gets a break again, and we'll go from there. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about the track. What did you think about the race, and who do you think is going to win the 450s this weekend? But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.